Welcome back! He's the torch with a sharp tongue and an even sharper tungsten. On tonight's episode, Tiig vs. Tiig, a Gas Weld Cup challenge. Tiig gets glassy. Stick around for a review, and at the end, head-to-head, ceramic versus glass.
And that, Sparky, is how babies are made.
Oh boy! Gross!
I hear that welder humming. The fan is kicking on. I ain't struck an arch and I don't know when. I'm wrapped around the car and time keeps dragging on.
Hey, Tiig, you look different.
Oh, hey Fred, ain't you ever seen a glass Pyrex cup before?
Yeah, but you need an entire bottle of argon to weld with that thing. You look ridiculous.
Your face is ridiculous. Now get out of my way, pipe welders. I'm about to walk this dog.
Tiig, let's go on over to Amazon and find you something more practical.
Several days later.
Welcome back to the barn. This is the part of the video where we're going to dive in deep and do a quick review of the RX Weld glass lens kit for Tiig. So this is what they call the talking hands portion of the video. I'm going to zoom in here, show you everything that's in it. I got it on Amazon for about 20 bucks, and I'm only doing the review because I'm actually pretty impressed with the product. For the price, you really can't go wrong. If you're new at this, I'll go ahead and assemble the torch real quick so you can see how that all goes. And then we're gonna do some close-up arc shots of the ceramic versus the glass so you can see the difference that I saw and how it really improved my ability to see what I was doing. So if you like that, if you're an experienced welder, this may not be for you, but for the newbies out there, you might learn something. So stick around and we'll see you in a minute.
Be gentle, Fred. It's my first time.
Calm down, Tiig. All right, let's jump in. So this is the RX Weld 28-piece Pyrex Tiig welding torch lenses 4 through 8 cup kit for torches WP 17, 18, and 26, which our friend Tiig here is a WP 26. And I gotta say, it fits him quite nicely. Let's take a look. I'm not sure how they're quantifying 28 pieces. You can pause the video and try and count it if you want to, but that makes my brain hurt. So there's a lot of stuff in a very small package. I'm very pleased. Like I said, this is $20. I think it was $22 out the door from Amazon. And what more do you need at that price point? Seriously. It comes with 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I've been using the 6, which I've been very happy with. I think it was a little odd when I was trying to find something like this. I didn't want to spend a lot of money because I didn't know if I'd like it or if the product would even be of quality, but this one did turn out to be very good. And I predominantly use 7s and 8s around the shop. I got a number 7 on there right now. You can see it's pretty well loved. Tiig's got a nice chip in his tooth, but it still works, and that's what I use. You see a lot of bigger cups out there, but I'm doing thin sheet, 22, 24 gauge thin sheet. I don't need to be running a lot of argon for what I'm doing, and mostly just carbon steel right now. I've tried some stainless. I don't know too much about aluminum, but I would love to get into it. What I think is odd, though, is that you can't really, at this price point, just get a kit of 7s and 8s, or all 8s, or all 7s. which I would have really liked. If every single one of these had been a 7, I would have been perfectly happy. Or even, you know, which I'll explain in a minute. But it seems like most common was to find like a whole set of 10s or 12s. So a lot of people out there are using those sizes to do automotive or, you know, structural. I'm not sure. That's not what we do here in the shop. Sometimes we do some automotive repair, fixing snow blowers and stuff, but I wouldn't TIG that. I'd kind of save TIG for the more specialty things. Armatures for sculptures. Like I said, putting together panels, making shapes, really fine-tuning stuff. Keep in mind, I've never welded with anything but ceramic cups before, so this is all pretty new to me. And specifically the cups that came with my torch. You know, you go with what you got. And I think a lot of the other YouTubers out there with a lot more experience than me that are making great content, they'd probably say, learn the basics before trying to upgrade. Like, because if you can't weld with this, you're probably not going to be doing much better if you switch to this right here. So now my main concern is that I couldn't see. Not that I was kind of blindfolded, but I really had to get my head down in there to see the weld. You know, I'm like, whoa, way too close. Sometimes getting a spark down the neck, and you're just breathing it. You're just in it, and I didn't like that. So I have to say, the one criticism, if I had to have one, was I don't need these back caps. I don't know, maybe you bought a TIG torch that didn't come with this, so this would be a nice thing to have, but these come with the welders, they come with the welding machines, they come with the TIG torches. I'm not even sure why I need another set of these lying around. I would have much rather, I mean, if RX ever sees this and is listening, I would much rather have had the same kit, but why don't you throw in a number 10 and a number 12 gas lens instead of this? Because I don't need this. Like I said, maybe you do. And unless you're really rough on your torch, I've never broken one of these. I try not to drop the thing, but you never know. RX could probably keep the same price point and just throw in some extra lenses. Maybe even just 2 more 7s or 2 more 8s. As for the lenses and collets, I mean, this is pretty quality stuff. You got brass on copper. You got a really nice screen in there. I don't know if that's coming through, but there's a washer to hold it all into place. It's not just by tension. It's pretty heavy duty. It comes with 1/8 inch or 1/8, 3/32, which is predominantly what I use around here. That's kind of my go-to. I should probably be using smaller tungstens from time to time, but I just like 3/32. You got your 16, and this little guy right here. It says it's an 0.04. I don't know what you're doing with this. Maybe jewelry or electronics. I really have no idea. I've never seen a tungsten that small before. I have no clue. But hey, it's there, and if I ever need it, then I'll know what it's for, right? Well, let's compare. Let me take this lens off real quick. I'll just try and do this. I already switched this out because I don't want to keep taking it on, taking it off just for demonstrations. I've shot this video quite a few times. So you just want to swap that out. If your back's loose enough, you can just take your tungsten out. Take out the lens, collet, set those down. I already set this guy up. Like I said, you got your collet. You can just set the whole thing right in there. And you can see, just based on what other reviewers or people who have bought similar things, I went ahead and did the double O-ring, which is not necessary, but I would highly recommend it because I had a single on there, and when this gets hot, this whole lens just moved around, and I might have been losing gas. I don't know, but you can see this is on there now. It ain't going nowhere. It's pretty easy just to stick your tungsten. Again, you know, like you can just see everything. That's what I love about it. I can see everything I'm doing. As far as stick out, let's be honest, you could probably get away with 1/2 inch if you wanted to. I'm not going to take my chances with that, but I am going to stick it out pretty far. So, there you go. What do you think, Tig?
Ooh, I'm looking glassy, Fred.
You are. I'd even say Classy. So let's show some arc shots with ceramic versus glass.
All right, so here are the settings. We're going to do a couple of warm-up runs. I always like to grab a couple of thin sheets and do practice runs. I recommend that for anybody. Still learning, like me, always learning. This is going to be the ceramic. You can back it up there and read all the stats on how it's set up. Kind of a cool thing, if you look to the left of the main arc light, you can actually see the reflection of the rod as it's dabbing the puddle. It's not intentional, but it's kind of a nice little feature. I guess you can just see what I can see. I mean, the helmet's pretty much the same that I'm wearing while I'm trying to weld, so I want to back it off there at the end real slow. Not a bad little bead. And of course, leave your gas flow on it to avoid contamination or oxidization. I'm just doing 2 passes with the ceramic so you can kind of get a general sense of what a flat, laying it down flat would look like. Boy, look at me. Is that my walking stick? Dabbing like I had too many espressos. A couple sparks flying off there. I must not have cleaned it up too well, but that's all right. We're just having a bit of fun and trying to give you a visualization of what that looks like with the number 7 ceramic. This is a pretty thin sheet. I think I said it was 24 or 22 gauge. Come to the end. Back off the heat. I found, you got to back off slow to avoid cracking as well. Maybe I already mentioned that. I think I was running pretty hot there at the end. You can tell. Again, not a bad bead, but
Not the best, not the worst.
all right, here we go. Number 6, stubby gas lens. Same settings as the ceramic. Got a little blurry there, camera guy. But here we go, back in there. And I'm sorry, I gotta say, I just look at this thing. It's like welding with a light bulb. It's beautiful. A little shaky today, Fred. Jeez. Lay off the caffeine, buddy. I don't know what my problem was. I was super I think it was cold in the studio. So I might as well try and warm up the whole shop with some... Whoa, look at that hot plate. That'll warm it up real quick in here. Not a bad bead again. This is the same exact piece of metal I welded on before. I just flipped it over to the bottom. It was an old T-joint that I practiced on. Here we go again. Number 2, same settings. Come on, camera guy. Get it together. Look at that difference. I wish we were getting that little reflection so you could see the rod just dropping right off there into the puddle. But even everything surrounding you, I mean, look at those O-rings. They're like neon lights. I gotta say, I don't know if it's gonna make me a better welder, but I absolutely like the way it looks. Welds have been improved. That has yet to still be seen. I mean, it's hit or miss. You know how it is, day to day. Here we go. Lap joint. Those are the settings. Pause it if you want to read how everything's dialed in. We're using purple tungsten. That's just my go-to. A lot of people, there are a lot of opinions out there on YouTube about the tungsten. So watch the ones you want to watch and go with whatever works for you. Yeah, I should have strapped that one down there, Fred. Little post flow. Ceramic cup, number 7. I think I was having trouble getting the puddle going, so I was just pumping a little more heat in there.
I think I said I was up to either 90 but did I go up to 140 on this one? I gotta say, I think lap joint's my favorite weld. I don't know why. It always just looks nice. It's fun to watch the two plates come together. I don't know. It's just a fun weld. And then watch me. Yep, dropped off on the end there. Oop. You want to keep your rod under your cup, people. So you're not adding contamination to your weld. Sit on that for a minute. You can see the gas kick off there. I do about an 8-second post flow. That just depends on what you're doing. Not bad. A little. I missed the beginning and I went a little long at the end, but it's really not a bad little weld. We're not doing anything critical here. Keep that in mind. Okay, I want to try a different angle. I think that was a bad idea, but this should at least give you a sense of the trail that I'm leaving behind. I think it's actually a pretty good weld. You can't see as well from this angle, but it definitely allowed a closer image. And if you look real close, you can see the rod going right in there under the glass. And that's just how much more you can see with that steppy glass lens. You can see everything. Again, it's like welding with a light bulb. Who turned on the lights? Yeah, there you go. You can see the trail of the weld. Everything's going pretty good. I probably could have used a 3/32 rod just because we're, but I wanted this one to lay a little bit flat. I didn't want to have a caterpillar on there. And that gives you a pretty good sense. I'm going to say too hot. Maybe I was moving a little too fast. Oop, you can see that bump there. You get some undercut on that one. I'll tell you what, though, that will absolutely pass a bend test. Look at that heat. Not a bad profile, but definitely a little heavy on the pedal there, Freddie. You can see the backside of the first weld. Not great penetration, except for the tacks. Really good penetration.
The duck's nuts.
Oh, you said it, Freddie. Yeah, there you go. And look at the end. It's a mess, but it started out strong. At least I started at the tack this time. Here we go. T-joint. Same settings, but we are up to 175 amps. Still with the foot pedal. Same rod. Same stick out. Both plates 1/8 inch. And I will just preface this. T-joints are my least favorite. I hope there's someone out there who just eats T-joints for breakfast, because that is not my thing. Now, I had a really good stick out on this one, and I think this actually was an okay weld. And I can hear a little contamination in there, and snap, crackle, pop. But the nice thing with that setup, when you tilt your T-joints up in the air like that, you can pretty much just set your cup right down in there. And some people do a weave back and forth if you're not getting the metal from side to side, side to side, side to side. Some people weave it. I wouldn't necessarily call it walking the cup, but it's more about back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I was pushing a lot of rod in there. Look at that. Look at how fast this finger is coming in. Oh, and is Freddie not wearing a glove? Not even taking your own advice, buddy. You're about to burn that finger. That is too much heat. I'm just going to say it. But I think I was having a hard time getting it to start, so that is a lot of heat, son. Sloppy. But it would get the job done on something you weren't too worried about. Here again, sorry for the bad angle. I should have just left the camera guy on the other side and shown them both in the same. But, this is a demonstration of visual perspective. This is giving you a sense of what it's like being able to see more around the whole torch as you're moving it along, which I kind of enjoy. Yeah, you don't want to be distracted. You want to keep your eye on the puddle and the rod. Okay, I'm just going to say that was an excessive amount of heat. I had moved my tungsten in too far. Whoa! Pew! So what I did there, not an illusion or not some funny trickery, I went back over that with an 1/8 inch rod and a better stick out and better heat. I'm not saying that's a good weld, but what you saw before was scary. So anyway, paper thin sheet. I mean, this is just a fun, practical example of.
That gap's bigger than the crack in your butt, Fred.
Well, thank you, Tiig, but let's keep it family friendly. Like I said, this is an actual sculpture we're working on right now in the shop. Mild steel. We had to split the pieces apart because we welded the whole thing together and it warped like crazy. So the rest of the sculptural components wouldn't fit together. So what you want to do is just cut your metal, bend everything back into place, and then come back in here and tack it all back together. You can grind it off, or if the weld's looking nice, just leave it. I mean, when you're making sculptures like this, you have to decide what visual, how you want it to look visually. Let's put it that way. Nice little tack. Good heat, good cohesion.
Thanks for the support, Everlast.
Yes, thank you, Everlast. You are rocking it. Same piece. I just wanted to show you, after you tack it, you're going to want to come back in and clean everything up. And I also think it was just a really good arc shot. I mean, look at that light bulb. Oh, Tiggy, won't you shine your light on me? Look at that. Gorgeous. I think I tried to just do a little bit of lay wire here because I actually had it right on top of the table as a heat sink. I think I was just running right over that rod. We'll probably go back and clean these up, so you never know that we had to make the repair, but it worked. Everything fits together nicely. So if you have any comments or questions, put them down below, and we're going to go over and wrap this video up. So thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, or at least entertained.
Hey, what you doing now, Tiig?
Well, I'm going over to Weld.com to find a new operator. Because quite frankly, Fred, you stink.